KEZL FM 89.7 mom and pop radio for the folk. You know, every now and then you take somebody somewhere new and you forget what seems perfectly normal to you can be a complete shock to them. Now, I've hanged around Vietnamese people all of my life since I moved to Houston anyway. There's a huge Vietnamese. There's more Vietnamese people in Houston than there are in Saigon, if you can believe that. Anyway, that's what they say. So I'm friends with a lot of them. I was even married to one of them. So I have a little expert opinion here on some of this. And I'm used to going in their restaurants and that sort of thing and hanging around with them. They're very friendly people. They really are. They're way more friendlier than, say, the Chinese and people like that of other Asian descent. They just are. They'll make friends with you in a minute if you'll just give them a chance. Well, a while back, I took a guy and his wife that were visiting down in Houston to a Vietnamese restaurant that I go to all the time. I've been going in this place 40 years, and they know me well in there, always. And they always try to do something. They try to give me the best of something, or this, that, and the other thing. They're always trying to make sure that my order is right, and they always come and talk to me and visit me and ask me about stuff. Well, the folks I was with, none of them had ever eaten Vietnamese food before. And I told them, now, don't worry about the menu. They wanted to try something new. I said, just order the beef soup. It's called pho tai nam. And you'll love it. It'll be great. It's a noodle soup. And Vietnamese people eat it for breakfast, but I like to eat it the last thing before I go to bed because for some reason, it'll make you tired. It'll make you want to go to bed. Usually on the coldest winter night, that's when I go over and get me a bowl of that, and then I go right home and crawl in bed and sleep like a baby all night long. There's always somebody contrary along. Oh, I don't like that. I want the pork soup. That's what I heard this time. Okay, fine. I never had the pork soup, but you're entitled to have the pork soup. Make it so. And I told the waiter, bring the pork soup, the very best one you got. Big mistake. Big mistake. A few minutes later, here the bowls arrive. I have my fresh noodle soup. It's beef with the little slices of meat in it, looking good, steaming hot, smelled so good. Everybody's digging in except this friend's wife. She's just staring in the bowl like she's seen a ghost. I said, what's wrong over there? She slowly points a chopstick towards the center of the soup, and floating right there on top was the very end of a pig snout. Not a little piece of pork either. Not a slice of ham. It was the actual nose, the very end of the nose, 2 nostrils and everything, looking right at her. It looked like the pig had come up for air. Excuse me. You had to be there. My friend pushed her chair back and said, "That thing is looking at me." The waiter noticed the commotion and came over with a big smile, proud as could be. It turns out, in many traditional pork soups, the snout is the delicacy. That includes in this Vietnamese soup. And to the kitchen, they weren't playing a joke. They thought they were doing a favor by giving her one of the best pieces in the pot because they knew me. See? They were saving that for their best customer. And I come along, they knew me, and they gave it to one of my friends. Well, the rest of us couldn't stop laughing. The waiter was confused. My friend was horrified, and that pig nose just kept floating there like the captain of the soup. Friends and neighbors. When you go out with someone to a strange place, particularly an Asian restaurant, it's best to stick with what people recommend unless you know very well what you are ordering, and even then sometimes. So, now granted, this could happen in a Latin restaurant as well because they a lot of times cook the pig heads and make soup. You like tamales? Those are made out of pig's heads boiled up. You might get an eyeball in one of those from time to time, although they usually save those pieces for themselves. That's the best part. That's the best part, they say. One thing was, my friend was very gracious about it. After the initial shock, she reached in with chopsticks, took out the snout and laid it on a napkin, covered it with another napkin, and proceeded to eat her soup. So it all turned out okay in the end. And then I couldn't help but wonder after we left if they put it back in the soup in the kitchen for the next guy. You have to wonder sometimes about these places. I honestly think sometimes they take the leftover soup and put it back in the kettle. You never know. Ronnie McDowell up next, KEZL FM. We need to get serious and play some great country music. Older women, KEZL.